102.3 WBAB, Long Island's only classic rock. Joe Rock, and proud to have to be on the phone from Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee band, yes, Mr. Alan White. How you doing today, Alan?
I'm doing fine, man. How are you?
I'm great. So, before we get to the million other things that we have to talk about, one of the things I want to ask you about is, especially with the way I gave the intro, how did you feel when you guys got the word that you were getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yeah, well, I think the first one was elated because it was about time, and everybody been telling us for so many years, why aren't you guys in the Hall of Fame? It's so ridiculous. You guys have been doing this so long, and breaking boundaries in music, and you should have been in there years ago. And, I talked to the guys from Rush who got in a couple of years before us, and I went to the induction ceremony, and they came up to me and said, I can't believe we're getting in the Hall of Fame before you guys when we modeled our music on yours. And it was pretty strange, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm glad that they finally recognized that you were long overdue, and I'm glad that the fans really stood up for you. I think that's a great thing to have a fan base that feels so strongly about you.
Yeah, sure. We've got a lot of very hardcore, deep-core fans for many years, and they've been really great for us, including pestering the Hall of Fame, which is a very kind of political process of getting in there for people, because they seem to induct a lot of people from the past, and for many years they missed out kind of progressive music and that kind of era. And finally, I think Genesis is one of the first bands that got in. And not that they're totally progressive, but at the same time they were on the edge of it. So anyhow, and that led the way to bands like Rush and like us getting in now.
Well, one of the things I think is great is that you're hitting the road to celebrate the band's 50th anniversary. And now for a progressive band, you guys still have that sound and feel to everything you do.
Yeah, it's been incredible, but I attribute that to the music, basically. The music is pretty high caliber stuff. I mean, we work a long time to create it, and we work a long time to put it down so it sounds really good, and there's a lot of attention to detail that goes into music, and I think that it comes through in the end. And, every album's been different in a certain way, and but it's always still being music. You can always tell.
There was one thing that was always very constant with Yes that changed over the last few years, and that was, you always had Chris Squire by your side as part of the rhythm section with you.
Yeah.
What was it like to come to the decision to continue on after his passing?
Well, it was one of his dying wishes, really. He said, whatever you do, Alan, you've got to keep this going. You've got to finish what we started. If I get in trouble and I pass away, you must endeavor to keep this going in any shape and form, and just because it deserves it. And that's what I'm doing. And I guess I'll be doing it for quite a while still. I feel a lot better than I did a year ago when I had a really bad back problem, and then that's all fixed up now, and I'm on the way to a really total recovery.
Well, I have to tell you, one of the things that we're really glad about with this 50th anniversary tour is that you're going to be coming into town. You're going to be playing at the NYCB Theater at Westbury on July 18th. Now, when Chris told you that he wanted to carry on, did he handpick his successor, or did you guys have to go through an exhaustive search to find somebody?
No, I mean, Billy Sherwood, who takes the place of Chris in the band, was a very good friend of Chris's and a very good friend of mine. And Chris was Billy's mentor for most of his life, and we became pretty good friends way back, and Billy knows how to play pretty much everything like Chris and sing like him. So was a pretty obvious choice that Billy could step into the shoes, and he's doing a great job. And the band is playing exceptionally well right now.
Well, you also have some interesting releases that are just recently around. Actually, coming up this month, they're going to be releasing the Steven Wilson remixes of a number of albums.
Yeah, he's been doing that on another couple before that, but he's interesting because he takes them and he totally revamps them to, he did Topographic Oceans. He did a quadraphonic version of that. I don't know if you've heard it, but it's pretty amazing. Pretty excited for all that stuff to come out.
Now, did you guys get a chance to hear what the remixes sounded like, or was it all like the ball's in his court, or did you guys have like...
No, we got to hear and, give them our sanction.
And also recently you did Fly From Here, Return Trip. Now, what was the driving force behind going back to that?
Yeah, well, what happened with that is the original host, Benoit, who was in the band for a short period of time, he replaced all of those vocals because really he kind of wrote that song with Jeff Downes, Fly From Here. It's his baby, in other words. So he decided to remix that whole thing with him singing. So, and it's really good, actually. It's pretty incredible. So we all got a bit of enjoyment out of that.
Well, you've gone back and you've, there's the remixes, you came back and you did that. Do you guys have any plans to do an album of all new material?
Yeah, I mean, it's on the books possibly for next year. If we can fit it in, well, I know we can fit it in next year, but we're doing, the idea is to do a summer tour next year with about 4 programs doing outdoor kind of amphitheaters and stuff like that. So this year is pretty packed up during the 50th anniversary. So we've already been to Europe, and now we're about a third of the way through an American tour, which is about 35 shows long. So it is a pretty arduous tour, but it's pretty incredible. We're getting through it.
Well, we definitely look forward to seeing the 50th anniversary tour. Like I said, you'll be playing at the NYCB Theater at Westbury coming up on July 18th. Now, with the 50th anniversary, you joined the band in 1972. Did you ever imagine when you joined the band that 40-some-odd years later down the road, you'd still be in this band?
Oh, my God. I don't think anybody did in the band. I don't think we had I thought, I'm joining the band. When Chris Squire and John Addison asked me to join the band, then I went, well, give me 3 months and I'll give you 3 months. And see if I enjoy playing with the band, and see if you enjoy having me replace Bill Burford. And here I am in July. It will be 47 years later that I've been in the band continuously, which is a hell of a long time. I never thought it would ever last that long. But I think it's the music that just keeps you going.
I find your musical paths for the band very interesting. One of the things that I always loved, there was a live track I remember of hearing you guys playing together with Jimmy Page doing Eddie Cochran's Something Else. And it made me wonder, because rockabilly very much not exactly what Yes is about. So it made me wonder, what were the records you were listening to before you got into Yes?
Well, I started playing drums when I was 12, so I was listening to Gene Krupa and Buddy Rich, and then early after that was Ringo, and through that. But when I was a teen, I started listening to more jazz fusion, like Weather Report and Return to Forever, those kind of bands. And I got a lot of influence of fusion-type drumming that went with the style I had, which was a little bit more down-to-earth, funky kind of stuff. So, but I'd already had a band that really loved playing the odd time signatures and all that kind of stuff. We wrote a lot of stuff in that nature. And that was what set me up for joining Yep in the first place. So it was pretty incredible, you know.
Well, it's not too often that I get to hear people mention Return to Forever when I'm doing rock and roll interviews. So I think that's very cool.
Oh, that was an amazing band. I mean, quite interesting. We had Lenny White, Alphonse Mouzon, you know, all of those songs were fantastic.
Well, I have to tell you, Alan, I really appreciate you spending the time to speak with me today. We really look forward to seeing you 50th anniversary tour for Yes coming into the NYCB Theater at Westbury on July 18th.
Well, we've played that place many times. I love it. And it's a unique gig in a way. But we used to play in the round, so.
Well, we definitely look forward to seeing you again come July.
All right, man, thanks.